There is one asteroid that astronomers are a little bit concerned about, just a little bit. Let me say that. It's called Apophis.
2029년 4월 13일 금요일. 축구장보다 큰 이 철광석은 35,000km 이내로 근접 통과할 것입니다. 꽤 먼 거리 같지만 거의 충돌이나 마찬가지죠.
It's going to pass so close to the Earth that it's going to be between us and our geosynchronous satellites. That's a close call. And we're sure it's going to miss the Earth in 2029. But there's a problem.
바로 열쇠구멍이라고 불리는 문제입니다. 열쇠구멍은 지구의 중력이 소행성을 약간 끌어당겨 소행성의 공전 궤도를 바꿀 수 있는 아주 좁은 우주 공간을 말합니다. 아포피스의 경우 열쇠구멍의 폭은 약 500m입니다. 만약 250m 크기의 이 함석이 이곳을 통과할 경우 지구의 중력이 아포피스를 살짝 끌어당기고 7년 후 되돌아올 땐 캘리포니아와 하와이 제도 사이에 충돌할 것입니다.
All these scientists, and they said there is no way in the world that you can say that a stone moving 28,000 miles per hour through space that's going to cover tens of thousands of miles before it gets here in 9 years is going to come so close that it's going to knock out the satellites and yet be assured that it's not going to hit the planet. They all said that's rubbish, it's a cover-up. Here's what I believe. I believe it because I saw it. I believe it because what I saw and the way it came to me has not yet one time in my life failed, including the resignation of Pope Benedict against all odds. It has not happened one time yet that it didn't unfold exactly the way I saw it. So I'm speaking from personal experience, but it's been validated by the facts after the fact. So I believe it in all my heart. I will look you in the eye and give you a new prediction, like I did when I told you the Pope was going to resign and everybody said it would never happen. In April of 2029, Apophis is going to strike the Earth.
Oh, I'll tell you what, Tom has good reasons to believe that this asteroid is a cosmic cover-up of end-time magnitude.
And at that time, they actually speculated that there was enough of a serious chance that Apophis was going to impact the Earth in 2029 that they put it on their watch list. Later on, they decreased the chance that it's going to impact the Earth in a bit over 9 years from now. But I learned later that this is probably because they're involved in a cover-up, and that the chances of Apophis striking the Earth in 2029 is far greater than what they are admitting at this point. And by the way, in the book, I go into that. It's more than a conspiracy theory. I've interviewed and talked with astronomers, members of NASA, people with above top secret security clearance. Lieutenant Colonel Robert McGinnis from the Pentagon, who was a senior analyst there, put me in contact with impact specialists. People like Nathan Myhrvold, who is constantly listed in the top 100 critical thinkers, scientific thinkers in the world, a true polymath with over 800 patents to his name. He once ran the science department at Microsoft. One of the most brilliant men on earth has recently published a peer-reviewed paper in an astronomy magazine in which he accuses NASA of an absolute cover-up of the threat that is posed by both Apophis and some other asteroids. So I did all of this research and came to believe that, in fact, of all dates, Friday the 13th, April 2029, Apophis is going to strike the Earth. If, as I predict, it impacts the Earth in 2029, it is literally going to be equivalent to, scientists say, 65,000 atomic bombs the size of the ones that we dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima at the end of World War II that literally sunk the Japanese island. They say that at a minimum, tens of millions of people will die, and possibly billions of people are going to die. NASA says that if this rock does hit the Earth, it's going to come down probably around the border of Mexico and California, so a highly densely populated area. So you can understand why this was such a terrifying vision to me. However, when Luke speaks of the signs in the asteroids, when the book of Revelation talks about what will happen in chapter 8, when this mighty rock called wormwood, which is what I believe this is, falls upon the planet, it all precedes a moment in which believers are to look up and lift up their heads because their redemption is drawing nigh. It is a message about the imminency of the second coming of Jesus Christ. And if you are a rapture believer, then of course you know that you're not appointed unto wrath, and you probably won't even be here when this event happens. But it is coming, and it is an opportunity, regardless of your eschatological or prophetic worldview, for believers of every type to take this as a moment to be preachers of the gospel. Paul said, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ, for it is the power, the dunamane, the dynamite of God that can convert from the Jew to the Gentile. And that is what I hope the message that is contained in the book, The Wormwood Prophecy, will do. Ignite a passion, because I did see in this vision as well, people everywhere, all around the world, on their face, begging God to deliver them from this menace. And there is a precedent in the scripture for God averting a judgment like he did with Nineveh when Jonah preached there. Like he says in the book of Joel, if you will turn to me with all of your heart and soul and mind, he says, then the locust plague won't come. I will send you a blessing instead of a cursing. And even one of the most famous European astronomers in the world today says there is a very real chance that Apophis will go through what he calls a window between Mars and Earth and be slingshot out into space only to return exactly 7 years later.